Hey, 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 happy Monday. Come on in, pull up a chair. The Daily Dope is in the air. Howdy, 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 gang. Yes, I'm Jeff McAleer, back once again as your host here at The Daily Dope, presented by thegaminggang.com, which I happen to be the grand poobah. Yes, I am the founder and editor-in-chief of thegaminggang.com. Tonight is Monday, March 9th, 2020. This is episode 451 of The Daily Dope. This is the first time you've tuned in to check out the show. Let me point out this is very, very casual. Just talking about tabletop gaming, for the most part. I mean, once in a while we'll talk a little pop culture, maybe comics, little movies, but for the most part, sometimes PC games. But the vast majority of the discussion that goes on here is tabletop gaming related. So do want to point out, if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. And of course, subscribe to the channel. If you do, don't forget, ring that little bell, because it will not only notify you when the stream goes live, it'll also tell you when I upload my standalone videos as well, such as my sneak peek at La Resistance, which is from my pals over at Flying Pig Games. It is up on Kickstarter right now. You can check that video out. That is the latest video that I have uploaded. Anyway, of course, if you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel here at YouTube, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, comics, movies, TV. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Of course, this is a live stream, so that means chat is available on YouTube. It is not on screen. It's one of the ways that I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay, but I do pay attention to chat as best I can. So if you'd like, say howdy, or if you've got a question or a comment, by all means, chime in. I will do my best to respond. So I see the Madman is in chat. We got Flaming Huron as well. So yes, thank you, the Madman, saying welcome back, Jeff. So yes, I did a show a week ago today, and then I had the rest of the week off. So got to play some games too for a change at Elliot Miller's house, which is that's not too often that takes place. So enjoyed that. I got to play Robinson Crusoe, which is from Portal Games, I want to say. Interesting. Also played A Study in Emerald from Tree Frog Games, which is based loosely on the Neil Gaiman short story. It was Martin Wallace design, and there's usually something a little wacky about. There's always that one wacky thing in a Martin Wallace design. This was kind of a deck building game. It didn't really feel like a deck builder, but it was interesting. It was different. But Robinson Crusoe, interestingly enough, like I said, never played it before. I could see that being a very interesting game to play, even playing it solitaire, because I think there are solitaire rules for the game as well. Funny enough, though, my best friend, Elliot Miller, has one of the worst memories around, and he's played both these games more than once, couldn't remember really how the game's played, so that was a little, little weird. It took us a little longer to play some of this stuff. We did play 1754, which is the French and Indian War game from Academy Games, so that was cool. And that was a squeaker. I squeaked that one out. Jason Brook is in chat as well. Good to see you, Jason. Thanks for popping in to say hi. Anyway, got a good amount of news cooking tonight. And as I mentioned last Monday, because we've been trying to see what can we do to kind of get a few more viewers of this stream, right? Because I don't know, if I crack 100 views on one of these shows, then I'm like, wow, something's up. Somebody must have wanted to see the news about something. Now, of course, usually my standalone videos, yeah. I mean, it depends once again on what I'm covering. Could have thousands of views. But I guess we're gonna just go back to doing the news. We'll just make this a news show. Try to do it about a half hour. Probably, you know me, I like to. So I'm sure we're probably gonna end up at more than 30 minutes most nights. But also, I do want to point out that the Daily Dope is now going to be Mondays through Thursdays, because I am trying to put together a Friday gaming group together. My own little Friday gaming gang. See what we can do. See, Dan from No Enemies here has popped on in. It's been a while since we saw them. So, Jason Brook is pointing out Free League Press has announced today that they got the license to produce Tolkien role-playing games. I know. It came a little late, so it's not on tonight's show. I will talk about it a little bit on tomorrow's show. I do want to point out, if you are a fan of The One Ring, which is from my pals over at Cubicle 7 Entertainment, it is the same design team that is going to be working with Free League Publishing. So my assumption has to be everything that was coming for the second edition of The One Ring is pretty much going to be in place for Free League Publishing to jump on board with their Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit and the rest of what the Tolkien license brings them. Well, which on one hand, for gamers, that's good, because you're not going to have to wait years now for a Lord of the Rings role-playing game to arrive again, to be available. I would think we should see this maybe even like PDF 6 months or so. So, don't know. I have no idea. So, Dan says Christopher Tolkien died, so no one's there to guard the gates. Oh, they're guarding the gates, my friend. Oh, yes, they are. It is certainly not Christopher Tolkien who is putting the kibosh on things. So, Jason Brook mentions, hey, I didn't know that. I assumed that, didn't realize that it's the same team. It's, oh my gosh, Magi and Nepatello are the two designers' last names. Viper Dave is in chat. Good to see you, Viper Dave. So yes, I did see that news. I already had everything all set up, and I have found that if I try to squeeze in some last-minute news pieces, it usually spells trouble on the show. So, tend to have way more technical difficulties when I try to jam something on in there. All right, good deal. Let's jump on into the news, because there is quite a bit going on. There are still a few days left for you to jump aboard the runaway Kickstarter train, which is known as Batman the Animated Series Adventures, Shadow of the Bat. Say that 5 times fast, everybody. I've got the dope. Running off IDW Games' miniatures-driven Adventures Universal Game System, OGS, engine, Batman the Animated Series Adventures Shadow of the Bat allows players to take the role of any hero in their roster in the game's 24 unique missions, which are all inspired by fan-favorite episodes. Even villains can be swapped out in every mission to change up the threats that players will face. In Shadow of the Bat, the 1 to 4 players take to the streets as Batman, Batgirl, Robin, Commissioner Gordon, and Catwoman, each with their own unique character, abilities, skills, and custom dice. They have to work together to take down the likes of Two-Face, the Penguin, Mr. Freeze, the Riddler, Scarecrow, Man-Bat, the Joker, and Harley Quinn. Yes, who, on a side note, some people don't realize this, Harley Quinn was not a comic book character until the animated series from Batman. She was created for that series. And look where she is now! All emancipated and everything with her birds of prey. As with other OGS games, villains can be controlled by the game itself for full co-op play, or by a 5th player. OGS modularity means that players can even create their own dream scenarios and teams including bringing in elements from other OG's products. There is a Kickstarter video to get you a better look at what's going on with Shadow of the Bat. Runs about close to 3 minutes. Let's take a peek.
When the streets of Gotham City run rampant with crime, there's only one person that can save them. You. Batman, the Animated Series Adventures, Shadow of the Bat, is the next entry in the Adventures Universal Game System product line from IDW Games, and is compatible with other products in the Adventures Universal Game System. In Shadow of the Bat, you and up to 3 of your friends will fight to save Gotham City as Batman, Robin, Batgirl, and Commissioner Gordon. Or even make an uneasy alliance with Catwoman. As with other games in the Adventures Universal Game System, heroes roll their dice to generate the actions they'll take on their turn, and then strategize which actions to share with their allies. And in Shadow of the Bat, working together is going to be key. Heroes won't be able to rely on brute strength alone, as each mission will have multiple threats to deal with. A fire inside the bank vault is slowly consuming the valuables inside. Someone will need to get the fire extinguisher over to the vault to stop the blaze. Scarecrow is using fear toxin to turn the bystanders against Batman. And Scarecrow's enforcers are taking bystanders hostage. Luckily, Batman and his allies are highly trained, each with their own special combat abilities, such as Commissioner Gordon's ability to command the GCPD. And new to Batman the Animated Series Adventures, Gadget Cards. Batman the Animated Series Adventures, Shadow of the Bat contains 8 campaigns, each based on a fan-favorite episode and totaling 20 missions, as well as 4 plug-and-play arcade battles that allow you to swap in different villains. By backing Batman the Animated Series Adventures, you're helping us continue to make games in the Adventures Universal Game System. But also by backing, you'll get free additional content. Back this campaign to receive the Kickstarter exclusive Alfred Ally with the Shadow of the Bat pledge. Or get everything with the all-in bundle and receive the Kickstarter exclusive Batman Duplicate Villain. Both pledge levels will receive all the stretch goals we unlock during the campaign.
Batman the Animated Adventures Shadow of the Bat is for 1 to 5 players. Remember, that 5th player has to play as the villains. Ages 14 and up, and plays in around 60 to 90 minutes. Project has already brought in over $1.1 million in Kickstarter funding, so that means it's funded. You can reserve a copy of the base game for a $125 pledge through March 12th, so there are only a few days left. Expected delivery is this December. Yeah, I don't know if that's going to be the case here. So, any of these companies, because you know damn well this is probably going to be produced in China. Companies are telling you, oh yeah, well, you know, we're still on, we're on schedule to get our games out. Maybe not. Maybe not. But this looks really cool. I would get it just for the minis. I'm a big, I know Dan just mentioned he's a big Batman fan. So am I. I think Batman's got to be my favorite DC character out of all of them. Strangely enough, Superman, I think, is all right. But I think a lot of people feel the same way. Can't really identify with Superman. You can easily identify with Bruce Wayne, who is basically just a rich guy who's, works out a lot and spends money on all those wonderful toys. So this does look pretty interesting. There are a slew of add-ons as well. So I do want to point out, if you do check out the Kickstarter, it can be kind of confusing what exactly you're getting for your $125. So it is the core game, plus I think there's an exclusive Alfred miniature that is available as well. So pretty sweet. And honestly, I really liked the animated series back in the day. I still remember seeing it. I came home and it premiered, I think it was the episode with the man bat. I want to say I came home from work and it was on, or maybe somebody had taped it. And I started watching it, and the man bat like smacks Batman pretty good, and Batman's bleeding. A little bit of blood comes spurting. I was like, whoa, hey, what's up with this cartoon here? What's up with this afternoon cartoon? There's blood flowing. So, very cool. I thought that looks pretty interesting. Moving right along. So Dan says, sure, I can identify with Batman. I work out. I'm rich. Know what I'm saying? Yes, but unfortunately Dan's Canadian, so right there, that takes him out of being Batman. Guess you're gonna have to be Wolverine. Sorry, Dan. Gotta be Wolverine. Isn't that a bummer? Not really. So, while that video was playing, Flaming Huron pointed out that the technical difficulties of the show are part of its charm. I never pretend to be anything or anybody that I'm not, so I do my best, right? What can I tell you? So yes, that's pretty funny. All right, so I guess Dan got a kick out of the Wolverine comment. Moving right along, let's get into our next news piece. Because Matagot Editions will be re-releasing the board game Barony, coming this May. Here's the dope. In Barony, players are ambitious barons, obviously enough, right? Trying to extend their dominion over the land. Who will succeed and become the new king? Me. It's gonna be me. I'm just telling you right now. It'll be me. At the beginning of the game, players create the board at random with 9 tiles per player. Each tile is comprised of 3 hexagons, with each hexagon being one of 5 landscape types: forest, plains, field, mountain, and lake. Players then each place 3 cities on the game board with a knight in each city. They then take turns in clockwise order, with each player taking exactly 1 action from 6 possible actions. There's recruitment. Add 2 knights to a city, or 3 knights if the city is adjacent to a lake. Okay, I'm not sure why the lake gets an extra knight, but if them's the rules. There's movement. Move 1 or 2 of your knights 1 space each. Knight can't enter a lake, a mountain with an opposing pawn, or any space with an opponent's city or stronghold, or 2 knights of the same opposing color. If you move a second knight into a space with an opposing pawn or village, remove those tokens and take 1 resource from the village owner. Why are we getting so detailed into this? There is construction. Remove 1 or more of your knights from the game board and replace each with a village or stronghold. There's the expedition. Remove 2 knights from your reserve, placing 1 back in the box out of play, and the other on any empty space on the edge of the game board. Guess you're exploring for new tiles, maybe? Once any player has gained the title of Duke, finish the round, then tally the victory points, with the players scoring for resources still in their possession, their rank in the game, and the number of cities they built. Whoever has the most victory points wins. Barony is for 2 to 4 players ages 14 and up, plays in around 45 minutes. And it will carry an MSRP of $39.99 when it arrives in May. This looks kind of interesting, especially for a $40 price tag. Looks like you're getting quite a bit in the box. I've heard that this is a pretty good game. This game, I think, originally came out in the early aughts, mid-aughts. So it has been out for a while. I believe it's been out of print for a few years now. So good to see this return. Artwork looks pretty cool too. So I thought I would share that with you. All right, moving right along. Rory Story Cubes have tackled plenty of intellectual properties before, but possibly the biggest yet is going to arrive in the second quarter of this year through Asmodee. And here's some really minimal dope on Rory's Story Cubes Star Wars. The dice system is perfect for fans of all ages to create and tell fun stories set in a galaxy far, far away. This is for the Star Wars fans who want to show off their Star Wars knowledge by creating the zaniest and craziest storylines set on any planet, all the way to the Outer Rim. This latest set is going to be for 2 to 12 players, ages 6 and up. and the game plays in around 10 minutes. These story cubes will carry an MSRP of $14.99 when they make their way into stores in Q2. Do not have an exact date on this just yet. Boy, I tell you, the Rory story cubes really have come a long way. I think they've only been around maybe 5 years. And they've got tons. They've got Scooby-Doo. They've got all these different IPs that they cover. Plus, of course, they've got tons of just little expansions for the story cubes as well. I've never played around with Rory's story cubes, but it looks like it could be fun. So Dan says, I got them. Not Star Wars, though. Gotta get them. Gotta catch them all. Wait, no, that's Pokemon, right? Gotta catch them all. So yes, this could be kind of cool. I'm glad to see that. All right, so this June is going to see the release of a new source book for Dungeons & Dragons. I've got the dope on Mythic Odysseys of Theros. The realm of Dungeons & Dragons once again merges with the plains of Magic the Gathering. The world of Theros, a realm shaped by the wrath of gods and the deeds of heroes. From the temples of omen-speaking oracles to the 5 realms of the underworld, the champions of the gods vie for immortal favor and a place among the world's living myths. Characters will rise above the common throng with supernatural gifts, abilities that give your PC remarkable powers that set you on the path to legend. You can explore Theros as the half-goat, half-man satyr, or satyr. I always say satyr. He told me that's wrong. It's supposed to be satyr. Or the mythic calf-like calf. Duh. How about a sip, Jeff? All right. Let's try that sentence in English this time. You can explore Theros as the half-goat, half-man satyr, or the mythic cat-like Leonin, as Mythic Odysseys of Theros introduces these races to 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons for the first time. Master new powers with Magic the Gathering inspired subclasses like the Bard's College of Eloquence and the Paladin's Oath of Heroism. Encounter mythic monsters whose power and renown are such that their names are truly living myths, and wield the weapons of the gods. 5 signature artifacts used by Theros' deities. What legends will you challenge? Mighty heroes, inevitable prophecies, or titans imprisoned by the gods? Where will destiny and immortal schemes lead you? And what tales will you leave behind, celebrated in the pantheon of myths and writ among the eternal stars? Like many other D&D hardcover releases, there is an alternate art cover, which I am sharing right now. This is the standard cover that you're looking at this moment. There we go. Now we get to see the alternate art cover. It does have a distinctive design and finish, and will be available exclusively in game stores for fans and collectors alike. Both are going to carry the same MSRP. I am 99.9% positive. I don't have a page count on this book yet, but I'm guessing we're probably looking 250, 275, somewhere in that neighborhood. The hardcover is going to arrive on June 2nd. It will carry an MSRP of $49.95. I know folks out there are a little upset. Well, you know, it's the interwebs, right? So 2 people on Twitter are pissed about something that's like, oh, everybody is up in arms. But I do know there are people out there who are big fans of Dungeons & Dragons and who are older fans of Dungeons & Dragons who are upset that Wizards of the Coast is once again going to the Magic the Gathering well as opposed to, say, the Dark Suns well or the Spelljammer well. I don't know what to tell you. I gotta be honest. If you're a fan of D&D, shouldn't you just be happy that you've got new supplemental material coming your way? Don't jump on me for saying that. But remember, this isn't Paizo we're talking about. This is Wizards of the Coast. And there isn't a lot of stuff that comes out for Dungeons & Dragons from Wizards of the Coast. So, don't know. But I gotta be honest. I mean, I thought it looks pretty interesting. I am not all that well versed in recent Magic the Gathering. That's why I said, one of the last live shows where I was sharing I think it was a game review. I said something about instants, like Magic, like in Magic the Gathering, you got instants. And I believe it was Kabuki Kid, who we have not seen pop into chat tonight, who mentioned, wow, they haven't used the term instants in a long, long time. Can I tell you? But this could be kind of cool. Ravnica was fine. I thought the Ravnica book was decent. So it wasn't like my favorite release for Dungeons & Dragons, but I thought it was a pretty good 5th edition book. So this will be on the horizon soon. Do want to mention, I have had some people asking if I will be reviewing off the top of my head, I can't remember the title of it. It is the upcoming 5th edition guide to one of the campaign worlds from Critical Role, one of Matt Mercer's campaign settings. I forget what it's called. You gotta remember, I don't watch Critical Role. Got nothing against it. It's not my thing. I don't watch any, actual play, wink, wink, shows out there. But I don't know. Usually by now, because it comes out next week, usually by now I'll have a copy. So I don't know. I know, I want to say they did another Critical Role book that I did not get a copy of for review. So I have reached out to my PR person who I work with, who handles Wizards of the Coast D&D releases, just to ask if I'm, if that's on the agenda for me or not. If it isn't, that's cool. I'm not gonna freak out. But there you go. Thank you, Madman Explorer's Guide to Wildemount. So I had shared news pieces and stuff about it. Like I said, I just don't know if it's heading my way or not. But like I said, it's not a huge deal if it does not. All right, let's jump into my next news piece, because Blood Monkey Design and Publishing and Necromancer Games have a Kickstarter to bring the popular fantasy setting of the Midderlands to 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons. See, I can say 5e D&D. They can just say 5e. Here is the dope. The Midderlands is an award-winning, utterly bizarre world setting for 5th edition. It's medieval Britain seen through a looking glass filled with strange creatures, insidious threats, and the color green. It's edgy, it's twisted, and the first thing you should expect is the last thing you'd expect. And it's not the Spanish Inquisition. Looking for a 5e setting completely different from anything you've seen before? You found it. Now let's see if you can survive it. The Midderlands exists because of a series of fortunate thoughts. It was late 2016. I said 1916. Yeah, can't read tonight. And often I would go around to my partner's house on the evenings, and while she sat on the sofa watching the television, I doodled the heads of strange creatures in side profile. I had no plan for these doodles, but I had a sketchbook and I wanted to fill quite a lot of it. As I doodled, I imagined that these creatures might live in the surrounding lands where I lived. That gave them much more life. I then thought I could create a book of creatures with a little about where they live and what they do. Then I figured that rather than living in the land where I do now, why not an alternate version of where I live? It would be a bit weirder, darker, gloomier. I wanted something that made the land the way it did. And that's when Gloomium became a thing. Locations would be inspired by the real world, but twisted and green tinged. So I needed a map. I made an alternate version, and that's when I decided this was a game setting. The creation of the initial setting book for old school games, the 5e version is what's being crowdfunded here, spawned another book which covered the rest of the United Kingdom, and then a further book which focused on the settings version of London. Great London, although it's Lunden. I kept joking around, it's Lundin. I have been amazed with its success and wanted to bring a version of the original to the 5e audience so they too could enjoy wandering its twisted locales and encounter its unusual creatures. Just wasn't sure how to achieve it. Luckily, the kindly amphibians at Necromancer Games came to the rescue, and we are now in a great position to bring a new version of the setting to you. My hands will be heavily involved in new and updated artwork and maps and a new layout. This is going to be exciting. You don't want to miss out. Do want to point out there is no Kickstarter video. So, what I thought I would do just for a couple of moments, because I've already reviewed the Midderlands. I've done a page through of the Midderlands. I wanted to show folks, if you're on the fence a little bit about this, let me show you real quick the old school Renaissance edition of the game. There we go. Right in front of me. So I am just going to pop through real quickly, kind of give you an idea of what you can probably expect. Let's make sure that this is in focus. All right, come on. There we go. Thank you, Panasonic. So, let's go back. The Midderlands. See, the reason why I was out of focus is because the camera right up above here, my overhead camera, has been on the entire time. And when I talk, I tend to do like things with my hands that you don't see on screen. Nothing dirty. It's just I tend to like, you know. So, of course, it was probably focusing in on a sleeve or something. Anyway, so you get a whole bunch of information about, obviously enough, the Midderlands. It appears like this book that they're crowdfunding is going to be full color, which is going to be very cool. There's a lot of color in this, but that will be completely full color. So we get the different areas. We get some cool, wacky, different monsters, some very unusual monsters. They are kind of alien style. So I love this book. I think this is a great book. To me personally, I think maybe the creatures are the weakest part of the book, but that's not saying anything really negative. But we're going to get a bunch of information. Let's kind of jump through. So we get the various different like towns and villages. Then we get some unusual locations, woods and forests. You'll get new spells. Here we go. Let's start getting into some of the creatures here. Just real quickly. I thought it was kind of cool that we get a size comparison on these different monsters and other creatures. I shouldn't say they're all monsters. So, kind of cool. I thought this was pretty interesting. There are actually some old school stats, of course, obviously enough. This is really kind of designed for swords and wizardry. But I got a kick out of how you have the opportunity, if you want to play as these creatures, you can. There's information about using that creature as your player character culture. I know we don't like to say race. So I really, really like it. I think this is really well done. There's the Midderlands expanded, and also there's the City of Great London. So hopefully we will see the Midderlands fund on Kickstarter, and you will see that for 5th edition, as well as the other two books that Glenn Seal and his pals have put together. Glenn Seal is really nice. He follows me on Twitter, tends to comment from time to time. Pretty cool. So, did want to share that, give you an idea of what you can kind of expect for 5th edition. It's not going to be the same exact thing, obviously enough, because I just read how there's going to be new artwork, kind of a different layout. And this is more kind of a digest-sized book. I'm going to take a guess that we will see a standard size, like gaming hardcover for that as well. So, don't miss out. The Midderlands 5e Kickstarter still has over 3 weeks to run. You can reserve a copy of the book in PDF for a $20 pledge. Or you can score the hardcover and the map, which is also very cool, for a $40 pledge through April 2nd. This has an expected delivery of October. So, pretty sweet. Hey, Hubcam 210 is popped in. Good to see you, Hubcam. Welcome aboard as we're zooming on through. All right, so my final news piece, another role-playing game release, is from Zozer Games, and they have an extremely long web address. So I am just sharing Drive-Thru RPG, but they've got a new modern RPG system based on the Traveler-inspired, I believe it's a Cepheus engine. I believe it's Cepheus is the pronunciation. I got the dope on Modern War. Modern War is a complete squad-level game that opens up role-playing for a wide range of modern military-themed settings. It is based on and fully compatible with a science fiction game called Cepheus Engine. With almost 70 military vehicles, 90 firearms, and comprehensive military careers, the game can be set anytime in the past 30 years. 2019, 1999, 1989, no matter. But it can also be used for almost any science fiction or horror crossover setting that you can imagine. I don't know, I can imagine quite a bit. This book contains infantry creation rules with kit lists, guidelines on how to game master a squad level game, and combat rules that factor in area fire and the inability to see your foe. There are squad templates from modern militaries, suggestions for building squad-based adventures, and 6 fictional future war scenarios. There's how to roleplay a squad of infantrymen, playing the crew of a tank or APC, future wars, 6 fictional wars to set your games within. There's vehicles, as mentioned, almost 70 vehicles with stats, firearms, yep, that's right, almost 90 firearms, rules for skiing, combat swimming, never heard of that, NBC production, jeez, not NBC production, yeah, it's network television, there's rules for network television in there, NBC protection, yes, nuclear, biological, chemical, and more, suppression, area fire, and the uncertainty and chaos of modern battlefield combat. Detailed equipment lists. You can create infantry, tank crews, chopper pilots, even civilians or intel officers. The 287-page PDF is available right now at Drive-Thru RPG for $16.99. That's a lot of gaming. A lot of gaming material for $17. Effectively, Dan says, RPG War! I remember way back in the day, I was in high school, and we played tons of different role-playing games, and one of my friends, there was a game called Behind Enemy Lines, and he used to run it. It was a World War II game, and I remember there was a Guns of Navarone module adventure that was published and ran that. That was pretty interesting. I don't recall the rule system being that great, but at the time there really wasn't any World War II role-playing games out there. There still aren't a ton of World War II or even World War I role-playing games out there unless they throw zombies into the mix, right? So I do believe there are some white box World War II. There's one that's I want to say it's a Swords and Wizardry white box, which is kind of like original Dungeons and Dragons, very, very similar, the retro clone of that, but in World War II, and I believe there's a lot for it. So kind of cool. Do want to mention when I talk about Drive-Thru RPG, the Daily Dope, and of course, the Gaming Gang are affiliated with the One Bookshelf sites. So if you are thinking of visiting, say, Dungeon Masters Guild, or maybe you're going to go head over to Drive-Thru RPG or Wargame Vault, please stop by thegaminggang.com first, click on one of our banner links, banner ads that we've got, and if you make a purchase, I'll get a little piece of that sale. Very little. So, also the GM's Day sale, which GM's Day is over, but the GM's Day sale is still ongoing. at Drive-Thru RPG, Storytellers Vault, and DM's Guild through March 16th. So they've got a bunch of stuff on sale, and now I glance down, and Flaming Heron's talking about the ongoing GM's Day sale. There you go, great minds, right? Right. So don't miss out. You still got a week of that to go. All right, so that is it for the news items tonight. Do want to mention, my friends, we were talking a little bit about Cubicle 7 Entertainment earlier when we were talking about how Free League Publishing is going to take over the licensing, or I should say the license to produce Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit and Tolkien-related role-playing games. So, I gotta say, I am a big fan of Cubicle 7 Entertainment, and my pals sent me the latest Doctor Who supplement, the latest Doctor Who source book. So, I am going to be sharing a page-through of this. I don't know if I'm going to do it before Friday, because one of the things I'm only going to do the Daily Dope Mondays through Thursdays. So that's going to open up Fridays. If I don't get this gaming group going, I'm going to shoot video. Because usually it's like my weekend is when I shoot video, and it's kind of like, geez, I'm always doing stuff for the websites or for the channel. So I'm like, So Flaming Heron says, yeah, they picked up the PDF for this already. So, you know what I might also do? I have the 4th Doctor source book for the Doctor Who role-playing game. I might shoot a video and page through that, because Tom Baker is my Doctor Who. That's how I look at it. Everybody's got their doctor, right? Tom Baker's my doctor, and I think I'll pace through it and actually maybe probably even share memories of episodes. I'll be like, oh my God, I remember that. Oh, geez. Oh, that was the episode that PBS was running one of their subscription drives. I was like, come on. I gotta go to school in the morning. Come on, let's go. Started watching Doctor Who here in the Chicago area. I want to say it was in 8th grade. Started watching it when I was in 8th grade. So, yeah. Anyway, so that will be on the horizon. I got some other stuff cooking too. I will know probably tomorrow if I will be taking a look at that source book that the Madman was kind enough, the guide to Wildemount for D&D. So yes, Flaming Heron mentions here in chat that these books are great for nostalgia buffs, and that is very true. In fact, I don't have it in hardcover. I do have it in PDF. The 2nd Doctor. And well, actually, in PDF, I don't have this one, but I had everything up to the 11th Doctor. And one of the things that's great about it is you don't even have to be into role-playing games to enjoy it, because it gives you a breakdown of each of the episodes. And with the 2nd Doctor, there are many, many adventures that no longer exist because the BBC wiped those tapes. So I found it very interesting to get to check out some adventures from Patrick Troughton that, I wasn't really aware of, even though I read a lot of the Target books back in the day. Yeah, boy, and those were expensive too. Wow, they were, I think, if I remember right, and they were only, they were maybe 180 pages. They weren't big, novels. 150 pages long. Those little Target books. I'm sure everybody, well, not everybody, but I'm sure folks out there have seen it, remember them. But if I remember right, I think they were like $8 at the science fiction bookstore I used to go to, and I was like, biting the bullet. Okay. Because luckily, I was working when I was 13 years old, so I was one of these high school kids who tended to have some money in my pocket. So, all right. Anyway, that is it for tonight's show. Like I said, I'm trying to make the show maybe 30 minutes, but you know how that's going to be. So, all right. Anyway, everybody who tuned in to watch live, thank you very, very much. Always appreciate everybody who keeps me company in chat. Good to see Dan from No Enemies Here. We haven't seen Dan in a while. Hubcam 210, I think, hadn't been here in a bit either. Then again, I should say I wasn't here for a bit. So, because last week, outside of Monday, I wasn't around anyway. Anyway, so thank you very much. So I don't feel like such a doofus just talking into a camera. As Dan says, thanks, Jeff. Love your show. Thank you, everybody. Help spread the word. Really, you know, I don't know. We're closing in on 2,200 subscribers, which I know is not a big deal. And it's kind of funny. I think to myself, well, who's subscribing if you're not watching the videos? It's like, why are you subscribing to this channel? Not like I'm paying anybody. So anyway, and of course, if you watch the show after the fact, maybe you're even watching on Memorex. Thank you so much. I definitely do appreciate that as well. Of course, when you are not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel here on YouTube, please visit thegaminggang.com for all latest in gaming news, reviews, comics, movies, TV. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Everybody have a great Monday night. I will be back tomorrow. And of course, as always, until then, happy trails. Oh, you're still here. Well, if that's the case, by all means, subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel by clicking right here. And of course, if you want to catch up on past episodes of The Daily Dope, check out this playlist. And if you'd like to see what YouTube's recommending you take a peek at from the channel, just give a click right over here. Of course, I'm Jeff McAleer, and once again, thank you very much for watching.